Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the buyer decision process. This process lets us know how a consumer makes purchase decisions. The purchase decision is not only the purchase but it has several steps before and after the purchase. And as a marketeer, an understanding of this entire process helps us to understand the customer better and market the product in a much better way. So as you can see, I have drawn 5 empty boxes here. So there are 5 stages. I'll take you through the stages one by one. The first stage which a buyer goes through is need recognition. Need recognition. This need can be triggered by internal stimuli. For example, things like hunger, thirst, or these needs can also be triggered by external stimuli like marketing ads, word of mouth, a friend's suggestion. In case of some purchases like impulse buying, a consumer might skip a stage like need recognition. But in most cases, the consumer need is triggered through some sort of internal stimuli or external stimuli. After this need recognition, the consumer proceeds to the next step of information search, where the consumer tries to search information about the product or service which he or she desires to purchase. So, the consumer stores this need in his or her memory and conducts information search. Now, information search depends on a lot of things. How relevant is the purchase for the buyer? How much is the information needed? So the amount of search will depend on the relevance of the purchase. How badly the consumer needs might also affect information search. Also, things like availability of information is also a crucial factor which affects consumers' information search. Now, information search can be from various sources. So, the consumer might search information from some personal sources like friends, family members, or the consumer might go for commercial sources like ads, television ads, newspaper ads, or salespeople or websites of companies. The consumer might also look for information through public sources like mass media, consumer rating organizations, etc. The consumer might also look through experiential sources like going to the shop and handling the product by himself and understanding about the product. After the information search stage, the consumer goes through to the evaluation stage. Evaluation of various alternatives is done by the consumer. So at this point, the consumer has a choice set of products or services which he or she might want to buy. Now, how a consumer processes information to arrive at brand choices? Now, this is what evaluation of alternatives is. A consumer might have various ways of this evaluation. Several evaluation processes can be used. Some evaluations can be sources through, let's say, friends. Some evaluation can be done through numerous careful calculations. Some other evaluation can be done with no evaluation. For example, in the case of impulse purchases. At this point, let's do a quick summary of the 3 stages with an example. Let's take an example of an expensive smartwatch which a customer wants to buy. Let's say the customer has decided to go on a journey of fitness and the customer wants a smartwatch. So as the customer works out, the customer feels a need for a smartwatch to track his or her heart rate and calories burned. This need is generated now. Once the customer's need is generated for a smartwatch, the customer goes through the steps of information search. The customer tries to search what kind of different smartwatches are available in the market, what are the commercial sources, let's say what are the ads of the sources, does any of my friends use smartwatches, what are the ratings given to various smartwatches in the markets, should I go to a store and visit and wear a smartwatch and see for myself. After I have done all this information search, depending on availability of information, amount of search, I go to the evaluation of alternatives. Let's say the customer arrives at the decision of 4 different brands of smartwatches from which the customer wants to buy one. So this evaluation can be based on friend suggestion, can be done through careful calculation of, let's say, the price of the product, the budget which the consumer has. In a smartwatch case, this is very rare that an impulse buying or no evaluation would happen for that customer. So let's carry forward with our example of smartwatch to the next stages. So after evaluation of alternatives, the customer goes through a stage of purchase decision. Here the customer decides which brand to purchase, which smartwatch to purchase. Here the customer will be buying the most preferred brand. Now there is a slight difference between the purchase intention here at this stage and the purchase decision here. Things can go very different from this stage of purchase intention to purchase decision. Let's say economic downturn happens and the prices increase and the customer does not have much budget to buy a smartwatch now. So this kind of change might happen between these two stages. The last stage which the customer goes through is post-purchase behavior. So let's say our customer has bought the most preferred smartwatch and the customer now owns a very nice smartwatch. Now, after buying, in most purchases, customers go through a dissonance stage, a cognitive dissonance stage. So many customers go through something called as cognitive dissonance. What this means is the customer feels some sort of lacuna in the product and thinks that the purchase is not good because every purchase has some drawbacks. The customer might also compare what the expectation was from that product and what is the actual performance of that product in this stage. After cognitive dissonance, the customer might also indulge in spreading positive word of mouth or spreading negative word of mouth. All this happens after the product has been purchased. As a marketeer, if a marketeer has an understanding that the customer passes through all these stages and what all involves in all these stages, the marketeer can develop a better marketing mix and make sure that the customer passes through all the stages in order to purchase its products. Friends, this was the buyer decision process and the 5 stages of the process. Thank you for watching Management Academy. Please do give us suggestions in the comment box.